I've always believed in the fact that, in India we have so many chefs, say figure 100,000 chefs in India we have. And 100,000 chefs know how to make a biryani, 100,000 chefs know how to make a butter chicken. But of course, I have learned it. I know what does it takes to make a good one. But I don't want to focus uh, on just the butter chicken and biryani to be among 100,000. I want to do something which separates my identity with the rest of the 100,000.
Hello, readers and followers of TravelDine. I have a very special guest with me today for our conversation. This is a guest from Dubai, a person who has completely changed the definition of Indian food, following in the great footsteps of chefs like Manish Mehrotra and Gagan Anand. Of course, you have heard their names and you have heard his name too, Himanshu Saini of Cresden Dubai, Cresden Kuwait, Cresden Bombay, and I hope all over the world it grows. Welcome, Himanshu. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
First and foremost, Himanshu, congratulations. By the way, readers, you have to know that Himanshu has been nominated as one of the top, wait, let me get this right, the Best Chef Top 100 Awards, right?
Yeah.
So congratulations on that. And tell us more about it. What's the process like and what are your expectations? Are you feeling the butterflies in your stomach every day, like as the date nears?
No, it's actually not I didn't expect it. It's something which we all follow. All the chefs around the world follow Best Chef Awards. It's quite big among chefs, and of course, I was not expecting it to be part of it. It was a huge surprise. There's a process about this awards. Usually, they always announce the top 100 ones. This year, they have made a slight change. They announced 100 new candidates who would join the list of the candidates from last year, and the 200 of them will vote for each other to make the new list. So for me, to be among the 100 new ones is still an achievement, but it's something which came just out of the blue. It was such a pleasant surprise.
Well, I'm sure you're going to make it and you're going to make us all proud. I think you are one of those chefs, the young chefs, who's actually taking Indian food global in a very different way. You have your own very unique technique. So tell us about the progressive cuisine journey. How did you get into this? Did you always know that you wanted to present Indian food this way, or was it the influence of chefs like Manish Mehrotra?
No, of course, when we were all growing up in the college, so at that point of time, there weren't many Indian restaurants who were popular or doing any sort of the new Indian cuisine, as we say. So we were not inclined. I was not inclined to do Indian food to begin with, but then I was always wanted to do something more creative with the food. Even in my college, I remember whenever I used to participate in all these competitions, my approach has always been used to be very different in what I choose to do. For me, if there are 100 people participating in the competition, my aim is to not to do something which the other 99 are not doing. So I've always pushed myself to do something which stands out. But then when I started working, I was fortunate enough to be in the opening team of Indian Accent, which of course was a blessing in disguise. I didn't know that it will have such a big influence in my career, but yeah, I think that opened up doors that to be able to spend time in the kitchen make me realize that Indian food can also be presented, perceived, and prepared in so many creative ways. But then I just wanted to say one thing. Over these years, I always used to claim it and say, it's modern Indian food, or it's progressive Indian food, or it has so many names. But I think now, after all these years, I've realized that I shouldn't call it modern Indian or progressive Indian. It's Indian food through my eyes. It's the Indian food presented, perceived by me and my team. Indian food can be anything. If you travel India, every 100 kilometers, our cuisine changes, our language changes, our culture changes, ingredient changes. So Indian food can be 1,000 things. It can be as many languages as we have. It can be as many cities as we have. It can be as many um, cultures as we have. So I think you cannot define Indian food in a word, in a line, or in a paragraph. It's like uh, a religious book. It's a religious text to me. I think it's endless. You can go about it for years, and still it's something which always be left out. So I would say that it's Indian food, of course, because I'm Indian, but it's Indian food the way I perceive it, the way I my team sees it, and we see it very differently. And I can quote you an example saying, I'm an Indian. I may not dress up every time in kurta pajama to boost that I'm an Indian. I wear a jeans and put a kurta on top. Maybe it's still Indian, but it's the Indian food for my generation. It's Indian food for people like me, and I always prepare, cook, explore that kind of food which I like to eat. It may not be Indian, but I may have an influence, Indian influence on that. Maybe I can in my initial years, I have this philosophy, or that is what is being taught to us. If you cook a pasta with an Indian curry or an Indian sauce, you are defaming Indian food. Maybe it's not. I have changed my perception now. I think it is totally cool. It's something which I want to prepare. It's something which I want to eat, and I will only can serve food which I like to eat. If something I don't enjoy, why would I eat? Why would I serve that thing? Are you getting my point? No, there's no point. I maybe I enjoy to cook my pasta with some kind of a curry or a sauce, and I like it so much, and that's what I want to serve it to you, because I know if what my palate will like. Maybe it's I want to serve what my palate likes. That's it. So maybe it's not the regional food. Maybe it's not a lost recipe, because if you see a lot of Indian chefs, there is always being trend. Initially they say, oh, modern food, progressive food, and of course we are all being part of it. Then we say, okay, regional food. Then we say, oh, the lost recipes will make a comeback. And then we say, oh, sustainability is another trend. You say about growing produce, organic, sustainable farming, and everything. But that's all different directions. Maybe I found my own one, which I would not relate to anything. For me, it's an open umbrella. India is a big country with a big heritage, and I don't mind uh, getting influenced by something which is not Indian, but of course making it Indian. Because if you see, we are in Dubai, we are not in India, and it just completes my story that we are absorbed in this city in a way where we are influenced by so many people around us from different parts of the world. So, and that's how I want to perceive my food, introduce my food, that it's Indian food because I'm Indian, but it's Indian food through a different lens, through a different with a different perception. And people might say bad things about it, but I've made peace with it, that this is my direction. I would serve you food which I would like to eat. I would tell you stories which is from my journey. The way I'm meeting all these chefs, I'm getting inspired from them. I'm picking up their brains. I'm learning their philosophies, and probably incorporating them in my taking best of everything. That's it.
Yeah, so Himanshu, tell us about your journey with Crescent, which started 4, 5 years ago. Have you reached the place where you want to be? How has the evolution been as a chef for you, bringing this something so revolutionary to Dubai and of course the rest of the world?
Now, when we started Crescent in 2014, there was a complete different vision, and with the studio, we again with a different vision, we started the brands with the carnival, and every restaurant has a different vision when we started. But of course, our vision has been, I would say, upgraded every few years. It's been a different journey. Uh, we started believing in the process of changing our thought process in the way that we don't want to be in a comfort zone. Like there are many restaurants who get stuck with a menu throughout its life, but we want to change the menu. We want to keep on bringing new dishes, new ideas. uh, I think that's the vision. It's just to uh, make it interesting for every palate. When people talk about Indian food, they have this misconception of saying, Indian food is hot, it's spicy. I think it is not the case. And Indian food is about spices. It's not about being spicy. And I think as along with what we do, it's very important for us to even educate also the diners about the Indian food. So I think we keep the vision is of course there to promote Indian food, but as I said, we are promoting Indian food with a different perception to make it interesting and yeah.
That's amazing. So, do you think that with this kind of cuisine, okay, let's call it progressive cuisine for the sake of understanding it better or giving it a kind of a definition. This whole perception of Indian food being just say about biryanis and butter chicken and those the traditional perception of Indian food has changed, especially with the younger generation and globally.
uh, it has changed. uh, it has changed, but it's up to an individual what he wants to do. It's up to a chef. I always believe in something which is very crazy. A lot of people, a lot of chefs, a lot of people, maybe you would judge me on this, but I've always believed in a fact that in India we have so many chefs. Say a figure 100,000 chefs in India we have, and 100,000 chefs know how to make a biryani. 100,000 chefs know how to make a butter chicken. But of course, I have learned it. I know uh, what does it takes to make a good one. But I don't want to focus uh, on just the butter chicken and biryani to be among 100,000. I want to do something which separates my identity with the rest of the 100,000. It's about telling us. It's about telling your story. It's about telling how we see Indian cuisine so differently. We don't want to dilute the cuisine, but it's something which tells our story. It's something which tells the story of our generation. When we still go out and eat butter chicken. We don't say it's bad or it's not Indian or it's something which is not good. But at the same time, we try different things also. We try the modern cuisine. We go to other Indian restaurants who are doing good things with Indian food. So I'm saying that it's in the head. There is no harm in pursuing this part of the cuisine, which is traditional, which is authentic, and it's okay to have few restaurants who tell the story in a different way. Yeah.
That's amazing. So, since you spoke about creating and telling a story through a dish, and that's what I feel about the unique thing about your dishes are each one tells a story. It's got colors, it's got fantastic plating, but it also tells a story. So, can you tell me the process of planning, or let's take an example of one dish and take us through it. How did you plan that particular dish, and what is the story that you were telling?
This is also something which has a backstory. Whenever we create a dish, we never believe that it's the end product. We don't put a full stop after creating a dish. I always keep the doors open because uh, a dish if I create a dish today, it's X. But if I don't say it's X and I keep it open, it can be XYZ. Maybe when I grow more, when I go out, when I learn few things, maybe I do certain addition to that dish and make it a completely different new experience. So that's why I always say that I don't have a signature dish, because if I have a signature dish, for me it's the end story, it's the end product. I don't have a signature dish because my dishes are evolving, and sometimes it is such an organic process that I don't have to put my head to it. The dots connect automatically.
But
uh,
just a minute,
the
I'll just interject you here. I mean, I'm really surprised you say that you don't have a signature dish. That's something like every artist wants to create one signature item.
no, no, I don't want to call it, because if I say this dish is my signature dish, then for me I would stuck with that dish and not think about that dish anymore. Yeah, you can say, you can keep on improvising that dish, but then you would not still give it that much attention. You believe, since everybody loves this dish, since I love this dish, so I would not change anything about it. But maybe that dish is good at that point of time. But tomorrow, if I do something to it, it becomes from great to extraordinary. So I always keep the door open. I don't have a signature dish. Maybe when I retire, I will list one when I stop thinking about it. But as long as I'm thinking about my dishes, I would still think that every dish has a scope of improvement. Every dish with one ingredient, with one stroke of paint or anything would make it has a scope of becoming much more better. So yeah, no signature dishes.
But there must be some things that have like stuck on in your menu for years, right? Anything that you have not changed at all? One or two dishes, which maybe because of its popularity, but for whatever reason, what are those
Uh,
particular items? And
I think there's only one dish I would say has never changed. Is the mushroom chai. You have had it so many
I
times.
love it.
Yeah. So, and it's probably the first dish which I created as a chef for a restaurant. I've worked in Indian accent as till sous chef, but then when I was opening masala library in Mumbai, it was as a chef for the first time. It was the first dish which I created
Okay.
for the menu, for a menu which says my name, which says that this dish is created by a chef. So that was my first trial in the kitchen of masala library. It was my first dish which is conceived in my mind. So that's why I always keep it in my menu, because it's something which is the beginning of my journey, that dishes. And I never thought of changing it. Is because uh, then I would uh, uh, belittle that moment. I want to just have that moment in me, keep it like that. Maybe one dish as an exception, which I don't want to change, because it's a symbol of where I started my journey as a chef.
That's
So
amazing.
that dish, yeah.
Now, finally, about the collaborations, I've seen you doing so many collaborations in the last few months, especially. It has increased during the pandemic. You might almost say has this period proved to
Yeah.
be a completely new journey in this terms of experimentation? Because you are, as you said, you're taking in so much and you're giving so much, and it's a process that's
No,
an entirely different process for you.
no. First of all, it's been a really fortunate for us to be in Dubai at this moment, where rest of the world was suffering from the lockdowns and everything. Dubai was pretty much open, and that's how a lot of these chefs who used to be so busy took out some time for us to come to Dubai, to share their cuisine, to share their ideas. And I think this whole process has given us one most important thing, and that is confidence. It's about self belief. I always believe that like before last 6 months, uh, we lacked confidence, but then the presence of all these chefs has given us so much self belief that that our food and our dishes can also be is also good enough. You need some kind of an approval sometime by the people who you always look up to. And all look up, and I always look up to these chefs who have done so much in their career. And when they when I have their approval about our dishes, it just gives us confidence, and it makes us do more, push more, create more dishes. And I think that's uh, that's a great effect we have in our team, that everybody started uh, thinking as if we mean that we can do it. Yeah.
Can you tell us one dish in the recent menus that you have created, especially in collaboration with these chefs, that was very, very challenging? There were different ideas perhaps coming in from both sides. And finally, the end product was something that was very, very satisfying for you.
Oh, it's when we do these collaborations, these chefs, they come for 4 or 5 days. So it's something we don't do a dish which is together. It's about one dish I present, the next dish the chef present, and that's how we do. So we don't get enough time to come up with the dish together. It should be like that, but I think it can happen next time when I cook with them, because I know them now, they know me, and now we can create a dish together. But when all these chefs comes to Dubai, it's mostly they present their dishes and we present our dishes. but yeah, it's challenging for us. Every time the chef comes in, it's because we have to think about new dishes.
Mm.
uh, the chefs always from outside brings their best dishes, but since all our guests comes to this events, they expect us to do new dishes. They can't have the same dishes. So it's challenging, but it's okay, because the kind of people who come for these collaborations are very open minded. uh, they know that it's like a playground, where you can, where we just express ourselves. There are certain things which we cannot do it in our regular operations, but with this collaborations, it gives us a lot of confidence that the kind of people who are coming in, they are open to weird and crazy ideas, and they want to see this side of ours where we don't see, you know that, oh, maybe this is something very weird. The guest, Emirati guest would not appreciate this, or an Indian guest would not appreciate this. For us, this collaboration gives us a lot of confidence to do everything, anything. Sometimes it clicks, sometimes it doesn't, but nobody complains. Is because the process is like this, that it's you're coming up, you're becoming part of an experiment.
That's true. What
Yeah.
about Mumbai now? I mean, you have Crescent Mumbai. Any other plans in any cities? And also with Crescent Mumbai, have you made it a conscious this thing to make it a choice to make it slightly different and giving it a unique identity?
Yes, present Mumbai is just a tasting menu restaurant. We don't have an a la carte in Mumbai, and it's again a very bold decision. Is because there are not many restaurants in India who are just tasting menu restaurants.
Yeah.
And if they are not very big restaurants. They are small. But in Crescent, before pandemic, we were doing great business. Imagine if we are doing a 10-course menu, and if we have 120 guests, 120 guests in a restaurant, it's about 1,200 plates which goes out pre-plated for in 4 hours. It's a big challenge, and in a very short span of time, it has become popular, and now people in Mumbai, they know Crescent Mumbai.
That's right. And do you plan to
Yeah.
come here more often, or like
No,
what's?
I was actually when before pandemic, I was spending every week in a month in Mumbai. Uh, Sometimes just be in the kitchen meeting the guests, because a lot of times the guest comes in, they expect to see me. So since it's not very far, so I used to make a conscious effort to be in Mumbai for a week every month.
Definitely. So finally, Himanshu, before we let you go, just a few quick questions, not like a rapid fire, but just something that comes to your mind and candid
Yeah,
conversations.
yeah.
So your recent favorite food memory?
It was actually in one of the collaborations we did. Uh, we did our map of India, the khichdi with the map of India with so many ingredients on it. We did the collaboration with Chef Anna Roche, and before she was coming to Dubai, I was I asked her to bring 5-6 ingredients from Slovenia, which are like the regional ingredients, and then along with the map of India, I made a map of Slovenia. And the way I chalk out the ingredients from India, I put those 5-6 ingredients from Slovenia, and I prepared the khichdi with the ingredients from Slovenia and India, and it was actually a khichdi of two different countries. So it was a beautiful moment. Uh, the story was so amazing, and it was a great idea to incorporate, the ingredients which chef specially brought in from country, and then to mix it. It was actually a collaborative dish, I would say, and it was a beautiful moment. I still remember. So I think that's the one I would say.
A collaboration in the true sense of the term, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So the one dish that you have not created, but you just loved it. Again, something from your recent travels or recent past.
It's not recent. It's from my days at Indian Accent. The Indian Accent have this dish called Doda Burfi Trinkle Tart.
Mhm.
It's something which I miss it. I crave it. Uh, I remember when this used to be prepared fresh in our kitchen. I used to have like 3 or 4 slices when it used to come out hot from the oven. So yeah, I miss it. But I think if when everything is okay for me to travel, I would have like 10 of those, and satisfy my craving for all these years.
If you were to start a restaurant in any other part of the world, like your own signature restaurant, what would you call it, and which city would you choose?
There has been many fantasies about it, and it keeps on changing. So I don't know which one to tell. Okay, I'll tell one which I've planned for my retirement. I'm a big football fan, so I'm a Manchester United supporter. So I see myself having a small restaurant in the suburbs of Manchester, maybe somewhere outside the city, and yeah, uh, do vegetarian dishes, and yeah, and have a season ticket for the stadium and just go and watch matches and open the restaurant whenever I want to.
Such a lovely dream. But do chefs ever
Yeah.
retire?
Hmm. It's not retirement. It's about not worrying about business, or not worrying about any reviews or anything. It's just about enjoying what you do. Retirement is all about that. I enjoy football. I enjoy cooking. I would end up doing both. Maybe at somewhere which is not very crowded, not a urban city, but like in suburbs where the life is slow.
Sure, sure. I'm sure that will also come true. And finally, any fun celebrity experience that you'd like to share? Somebody whom you have served and again, very memorable.
Uh, it's it was a memorable evening when we had Roger Federer in Crescent, and he was so tanned that day that no one recognized him. He was sitting, and no one knew it was Roger Federer. And one of the managers said that the guest wants to see me because he wants to order something out of the menu. I said, okay. I went on the table. I said, dude, this is Roger Federer. Can't you see that? And he said, and he was also like, it was a moment where we uh, couldn't believe that it was Roger Federer who was sitting. And then I went to meet him, and he has a very strange request which I cannot forget it in my life. I never expect Roger Federer would come in my restaurant and ask for matar paneer. He said he
Wow.
said he wants to have matar paneer. I was so shocked that first he knows what matar paneer is, and then if he knows that he likes it so much that he wants to come in a restaurant and have it. So I said, but why would you want to eat? Don't you want to eat anything else on the menu? He said, I want to eat something vegetarian, and I've eaten matar paneer. I really like it. Can you make one for me? And we did make matar paneer for him, but we serve him so many things. Yeah, and he came again. He liked the food. He came again. So it was a nice memory.
That is a wonderful memory. Imagine having to serve
Yeah,
Roger Federer. It's amazing. I'm sure you have far, far more memories again. And
yeah,
I really wish, Shimanshu, you get that number one spot because you deserve it. And all of, as your fan
yeah,
and as a fan of your cooking and the way you have kind of completely changed and evolved Indian food, you deserve that spot. So let's wait till September. Good luck for it.
yeah. It's
And
okay. It's okay. I don't aim to be number one. It's just that no, it's
no,
an it's a if uh, being a number 201 would would make me spread my stories to a lot more people. I'm happy with that.
no, no, I'm sure your stories and your restaurants also, you're telling stories through food. And that's what we
Yeah,
all want to hear. So
yeah.
thank you, Himanshu, and good luck for
Thank you so
being
much.
able to do that.
Thank you.
Lovely to talk to you as always.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much.